It's a big day for the Browns. Another big day for the Browns. They trade away Kenny Pickett. I wanted them to trade away Kenny Pickett. One, because I just don't. I think he's gumming. I thought he was gumming up the works. I thought he was there gumming up the works. And you know what? And I'm going to get to a couple of calls here, but the Dillon Gabriel stuff, like, I don't want to. There's some people who are becoming a little bit defensive on Dillon. I don't have anything against Dillon. I just don't think there's a ceiling there that tells me. I don't have hope, I should say. Like, there's still some, and it's probably unrealistic. You guys can go, Ken, Shedeur was terrible on Saturday. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's a little bit unrealistic. But if I had to bet on either one that they were going to become great, I'd probably take Shedeur, just because of the limitations that I think that Dillon Gabriel has. Doesn't mean Dillon Gabriel can't draw a pension. Because I'll tell you what, Shedeur, I don't know if he's a pension quarterback, pension player in the NFL, but I think a guy like Dillon Gabriel, yeah, I mean, you could see Dillon Gabriel in a preseason next year with either the Browns or somebody else, the year after that, the year after that, the year after that, like he could be around for 8 years.
I was really surprised at a lot of I almost think that as the pendulum continues to widely swing from one side to the other on these things after Shedeur's first preseason game. Of course, he didn't play in the second. Then we get to the third, and I thought Pickett had good moments, just like I thought Shedeur had good moments. Dillon Gabriel. I thought Gabriel had good moments, just like we saw Shedeur have good moments in the first game. But I was surprised to see how many people said, that's it. That's the draft pick. That's why he went third overall. I'm like, I'm seeing a fraction of the talent. Like, if we were talking about profile, he's going to get compared to Kyler Murray because of his size. And I'm like, man, I think Kyler Murray has way more talent than Kenny Pickett. Why are people using this performance to act like he's catapulted to the future starter of the Cleveland Browns?
I think that there's people who
I would bet against that.
I think there's people who are exhausted with it. I think they're exhausted hearing guys like me get excited about a guy like Shedeur. And I think they want to go with somebody who's a little bit more classic. I know he's not the tallest guy out there, but he's more of a classic quarterback. He's played a lot of football there. And Shedeur's played a lot of football too. But he's played a lot of football. He's been in some big games, some real big games with big outcomes, big meaning to him. I mean, Shedeur's been in some nice games and big regular season games. Dillon Gabriel's had to play in the playoffs and has been forced to play well in Big Ten championship games and things like that, and SEC games and things like that. Like, it is a different animal that Dillon Gabriel has had to play in. I have to admit that. So I think that they look at it more of a classic quarterback and going, okay, can I just get rid of the craziness? I think that's what some people are tired of, is the craziness, and I respect those feelings.
Yeah, but does any of that mean you're going to be good?
Like, no, I don't think so.
Fine, take the circus that Shedeur brings to the table. Okay, fine, but. All right. Does anybody, like, were we going into the draft thinking Dillon Gabriel is a future starter in the NFL? Was anybody saying that?
No.
So why are you saying it now? What have you seen from Dillon Gabriel?
Because I think it's a punchback to the craziness, and I have been a participant in it, the craziness of Shedeur. I think that they're firing back at it.
But I also saw people going after Darryl or Zach Jackson or anybody that was telling you how bad Gabriel was, even though everybody that was around was saying, man, Gabriel was...
Yeah, but those are the guys that we've had on. But we've had those guys on, and they've been vocal about it.
But the people going after them, because now he's second on the depth chart, Dillon Gabriel, I'm like, that's not, as the kids say, the flex that you think it is. Like, how many teams would Dillon Gabriel be the backup right now in the NFL? How many teams?
Well, that's interesting because
are we the only one?
I made a great big fight yesterday, and there were some people who definitely pushed back on me when I said this is the worst QB room in the NFL, and I should have said this is the best opportunity in the QB room in the NFL for Shedeur Sanders. And if that's the case, it's still the best opportunity in the NFL for Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, sure. What other teams would be lining up to make Dillon Gabriel their backup quarterback right now?
Don't you think one of the teams that's very secure in quarterback would bring him in?
Oh, you mean
to draft him late round?
Oh, yeah, but not to be like, hey, if our guy goes down,
right. No.
Like the Chiefs, if Patrick Mahomes goes down, Dillon Gabriel, the season's over. Like, you probably against the Chiefs, you're probably not going anywhere.
Now as their backups.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So the season's over.
Yeah.
If Patrick goes down.
But wait a second. I've seen Dillon.
But that's how it's been.
I've seen Gardner Minshew play well plenty of times.
Right.
Like, I don't have any faith.
They did it with Chad Henne. Give us a game. Give us a quarter. Right. They did it with Carson Wentz. Give us a game.
That's what you're hoping for. Like, if a guy's out for a season, if Josh Allen or Mahomes or like if they're out for the year, like that's it. Done. Like, you can, maybe you'll find a Scott Mitchell in there or a Matt Castle or something, but man, for the most part, especially now with today's quarterbacks, we're playing more than
week
ever.
18 and you can go,
Yes.
let's rally around the kid for 4 weeks.
And there's fewer great quarterbacks than I think there have been, then I think that you're going to have yourself a significant problem in there. But no, Owen's right. Like a Chad Henne, like, yeah, can you give me 2 games while we get this toe figured out? Gardner Minshew, can you give me a couple of games while we get this shoulder issue, this other shoulder issue figured out? And maybe you're hoping the same thing for Dillon Gabriel, but probably with a team that's not going to be starting all over with a new quarterback, as the Browns seem to be on a collision course to do. I want to be fair to Dillon Gabriel. So that's why, like, I don't push back on the stuff with what people are aiming at with Daryl and Zach with us. People listen to us. Those guys have been on the show. Those guys have been firmly on the record about how bad they look, and they can stand by that. Because we'll find out more with Dillon Gabriel. But I'll tell you right now, with Dillon, the results on the field from what we've seen in the preseason have not been what we've been reported to about what's happened in practice.
Yeah, but
those
also
have been better results.
But also the stuff I've seen in the preseason don't indicate to me that he's ever going to be a full-time starter in the NFL. What am I seeing? What is everybody else seeing that I'm not seeing?
Again, I think that is probably a wish more than an actual expectation.
There were some nice. I saw people talking about the layering of this ball, and I'm like, okay, maybe on a few throws, Dillon Gabriel, you're like, whoa, okay, you saw some arm to justify him being drafted, but I also think you could see that from like 80% of the quarterbacks in preseason can all make a layered throw. Like that's just a fraction of what needs to be seen to ever sit there and pronounce that a guy's going to be a future starter in the NFL.
Jim in Syracuse, New York, listening on the free Odyssey app. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Jim.
Good. I really feel like, I don't see Kenny Pickett winning 3 more games than Dillon Gabriel. So why not roll the dice on the younger guy?
I agree.
He has performed well in the preseason. I just don't see Kenny Pickett bringing any more value to the Browns in 2025 than Dillon Gabriel, particularly if he gets 5 or 6 games under his belt where he's learning as the backup. If something happens to Flacco, let's roll the dice and see what the kid can do. I
agree.
I don't see the downside.
I agree. When it comes to Kenny Pickett, I agree. I would have, if you would have said the same thing about Shedeur Sanders, I would have agreed. Again, I think that Kenny Pickett was basically a dam clogging up the water, and and thank you for the call, Jim. I wanted to see the other 2 rookies if it's not going to be Joe.
Me and you were on the same page, totally. But remember, it was Nathan Zagura. He's 15-10, right? He's only how old? How old is Kenny Pickett?
26.
And his profile coming out of the draft was actually much better than Dillon Gabriel.
And when we talk about QB wins is a valid stat for backup QBs. It is. I'm not going to be like Mina Kimes about it and go ripping on QB wins when it comes to starting quarterbacks. I totally agree with her on that. But when it comes to backup QBs, you want to give me 15-10? Yeah, I'm going to make myself feel better. When my franchise QB goes down and Kenny Pickett has to come in and I'm sitting there shaking my glass of whiskey and you go, hey, Kenny's 15-10, I'm going to go, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better about that. That's what you say for backup QBs. Not a guy who, hey, this guy could end up being our version of Sam Darnold or God knows who. Nobody, if media was saying that,
so do
it's
you think,
off base.
If
fans were saying that, I think there was probably few and far between.
Do you think Dillon Gabriel could go 15-10 with the Cleveland Browns over the next 25
I think Dillon Gabriel can go 15. I think Dillon Gabriel can go 15-10 through his career. Is what I think Dillon Gabriel can.
So you mean not on the Browns, but on other teams?
Not with the Browns, because he won't have the chance to play that many games with the Cleveland Browns.
That's interesting because, the caller was kind of saying, well, I have more faith that Dillon Gabriel. Why wouldn't you go with Dillon Gabriel? It's like, well, I don't know that he's going to be better than Kenny Pickett. And
Dillon Gabriel will be a backup here until the wheels come off of Joe, and then he will be the backup for the starting quarterback next year.
Yeah.
That's what Dillon Gabriel is going to be. So through the course of an 8-year career, Dillon Gabriel might be 15-10 or 10-5 as a starting quarterback in the NFL. But there's nowhere on earth that I see him being a franchise quarterback. That's not being mean-spirited. That's just being truthful. Let me get to Jay in Akron. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Jay.
How you doing, Ken?
Doing okay, Jay. Go ahead.
Good. Well, I don't think you should be throwing Gabriel under the bus so quickly. We had Pickett penciled in as the first-string quarterback. He got traded to Oakland to the Raiders, Las Vegas now, for a 5th rounder. So we have Flacco's going to play. He's going to play till he either gets hurt or the Browns are totally out of it. Then let Gabriel see what he can do. You know, he's got a blank sheet of paper record. Let's see what he can do.
I'm fine with him now.
Sanders there as the third-string quarterback. If he was the fourth quarterback, Sanders would have been on the non-dressing.
Yes. Well, Jay. That's. I think that's the entire argument that we're making here. Especially in the same thing with Jim in Syracuse called in. Like, I don't need to see Kenny Pickett. I'd rather just see Dillon Gabriel and his play in the preseason in the game against Carolina, or the game against Philadelphia, I should say, and then in the game on Saturday against the Rams. It did make me feel better. Like, all right, we could see what he has. I don't think he's anything. I don't think he's a franchise QB. I'm not. I just said it. I'm not going to turn it around just because you're on the phone and you're a nice guy. I don't think he's a franchise guy, but it's like, hey, again, if I play him this year, as of right now, Jay, I think you, me, Lima, everybody, and I thank you very much for the call. I think we all agree that our quarterback right now is in college football. So I got no problem in letting Dillon Gabriel get his fair share coming up. I hope that he is able to do somewhat of what he did in the preseason, because then I want to feel better about the pick. Because we're not out of the woods with the guys in charge right now. And if they're going to be around next year, which you can't guarantee me that they will or won't be, so if they are, I want to feel better about Dillon Gabriel. And I want to feel better about the guys in charge. So I want to see Dillon Gabriel and see if he was worth a third-round pick. Like, at the end of it, I can go, hey, man, you have an 8-year career. You go 15-10 as a starter in the NFL. Yeah, you're definitely worth a third-round pick. Definitely as a QB.